So last night I was up pretty late reading, and I was reading this book called The End of Faith by Sam Harris. It's about atheism, and I come upon this passage about where Sam Harris just spends 6 pages itemizing all these moments in the Quran that essentially call for the death of non believers. And this is meaningful to me. This is evidence of a belief system that leads to real danger in our world. And this is kind of my mindset in regard to looking at these topics. And I am enriched somehow by this study. And I feel compelled to share it. So I think about Facebook, I think about our social networks and what their aim is. What do they do? What do they do for me? I want to consume interesting media, whether it be an article or a video or a meme or a book, and then I want I want to share my experience in the form of a post. This is what we do. And so I think about, okay, I want to post this. I think about all the stupid things that we think about with, especially Instagram posts, but tweets and Facebook posts as well. I think about the time. I'm in Europe. It's 6 hours ahead of New York, 9 hours ahead of California. I do that math like it matters. I mean, I don't think it does, but I still think about it. And then I think about what the post is. I think about the content, and I think, wow, this is meaningful to me. I want to share this content. But then I'm aware that to you, I am perhaps just this atheist guy online who is posting annoying things or, things that you can dismiss essentially for being against religion, the end, or something like that. And you perhaps maybe already have a conception, your own thought process about these topics. And I'm just, I'm spending my time thinking about this post and whether or not to include one picture of the text or all 6 pages of the text and what kind of blurb to write. And I'm like, and then I step back and I think, who cares, right? I mean, it does not matter how I do this or if I do this at all. In fact, the only repercussion might be that I further this, reputation that I'm creating for myself that I don't necessarily want. Maybe it does what I want it to do, which is reach like-minded people to consider this evidence, but probably not. I mean, I know that I'm just one of hundreds of people that just scroll through your newsfeed, and I have to, I don't know, I'm considerate of that. I use Facebook for me. I create my identity on it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like this time capsule evidence of what I chose to express. And that's significant, I mean, our social networks are meant to connect us, but do they? Or are we all talking into our own vacuums with our own feedback loops? I mean, I am not popular online. I don't generate the discussions that I perhaps imagine having in my mind or in an actual physical setting with stimulating people. I want to create that online. I want that, especially, living great distances from people that matter to me. The internet is a perfect tool to connect us, and yet we don't always use it like that. And I think that's kind of a sadness. I mean, the point of wanting to make this post from this Sam Harris book is to share in the, incredulity of what is being represented here and to think about that, to study that. And, a book it's a funny thing, right? I'm connecting to the author. I'm understanding his point of view. But in doing so, I want to share that feeling of understanding with you, with people. And so I'm making this post and I spend all this time thinking about it. I take these pictures, I try to correct the lighting in them or whatever. I decide not to post them to Instagram because they're not nice photographs, they're just information. I post them to Facebook and then I immediately judge myself. It's like this, constant battle between like my id of desire and my superego of judgment whenever I create a post. And, I think about how you might see it and I think about how I might look back on it. And I immediately delete it because I think this is not how I want to represent this thought. And maybe just because I have the compulsion, this impulse to express it, doesn't necessarily mean I should, right? I mean, I wonder about what I put out in the world, even if no one notices. It matters to me what I'm doing. And do I want to make this kind of post right after having already made a post about Islam, for instance? Do I want to be so political all the time, or should I throw up something a little more fun? What influence might I have on your life? I mean, what makes you care to stop and see it? And is your vote of the like button or a comment the only information I have to work with? Because if that's true, I wouldn't post anything. I mean, very little that I put out there gets attention. And if that was the only reason I did something, I wouldn't. I do it for another reason. I've been thinking about this Zen koan. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. I'm that tree. And I continue falling. I want to fall for my own sake somehow. I mean, it doesn't quite matter what's popular. Somehow it matters what I express and what I need to get off my chest. And I want to have these kind of dialogues out loud, even if it is in a vacuum or to no one. Somehow it's meaningful to myself. And it's kind of funny. It's like taking the social out of social network, taking the network out as well. Maybe, I don't know. I I feel like we're all at a party, we're in a circle, and we're talking, but we're not necessarily listening to the other person talking. We're listening to ourselves, and we're all talking at once. And maybe we can get these dialogues going on certain news articles or what have you, but largely we're just putting things out there, seeing what sticks, and very little sticks because we're all invested in ourselves as producers of regurgitated content than we are as active consumers voting and buying and participating with the tools available to us on Facebook. Yeah, I don't know. I want Facebook to be better. I want my Facebook experience to be as good as it can be. It's too much to ask for because I can't control my social network. I can only control me. And even that, I wonder if I can control. I mean, I'm going to just react to the news and the memes on Reddit that I see. And I'm going to express them in the moment, or I'm going to overthink them and talk myself out of it. Either way, we're all doing this and creating this, virtual environment that is essentially ignored and meaningless. It's funny. I guess I just want us all to be aware of how we participate, how we reproduce our information, what our aims are, our intentions, and then how we consume it as well. And hopefully our lives are enriched by these micro moments of Facebook scrolling, and that we give each other things to reflect on and think about. I mean, I think that's the aim. We'll see.